YouTube? This is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football. And we've got your Week 6 start and sit video for the quarterback position. Hopefully out of Week 5, you guys came through with a victory, especially when there were some teams and players that went off. DJ Moore, Jamar Chase, Etienne, Zach Moss. There was a lot of players that put up these astronomical numbers, and hopefully you guys were able to survive those type of performances, or maybe you had them on your team and gave you a nice, easy victory. Again, this is the start and sit video for the quarterback. Make sure you guys are subscribed. We have now hit that 1,000 subscriber mark, so thank you guys so much. This has been an amazing community, and you guys have been so awesome. With that said, we will be running a jersey giveaway. We will be running it for 2 weeks long. So part of that is make sure you guys are subscribed, like the video, and comment your favorite team. I will be doing a random drawing at the end of the 2 weeks. I'll be doing that, posting who wins, and getting your information to send you your favorite current player of your team. So again, make sure you guys are subscribed, like, comment your favorite team, and we will get that giveaway going. So obvious quarterbacks, obviously we'll talk about that. There are 2 teams on a bye, Packers, Steelers. So realistically, Love, Pickett, nothing crazy. Love was pretty good so far, but not so good so far the last 2 games. But your obvious starts right here are Mahomes, obviously, Lamar, and you can see the list here. These are your obvious ones. I've started to add Cousins and Purdy because, again, matchups, and they have performed really well. So those are your obvious starts at the quarterback position. Now, let's talk starts, right? Trevor Lawrence versus the Colts. What a perfect matchup for Trevor Lawrence this week. He going against the Colts, where first season of the game had the Colts, right? Put up 2 touchdowns, I think, 22 points. He had a really good game. Colts are allowing 23.5 points a game to the quarterback, and they've allowed 280 yards as well in the air. This is a really good matchup for Trevor Lawrence. He had a nice little game in London. I think that helped being there 2 weeks against the Buffalo Bills, who are a phenomenal defense. But Trevor Lawrence looked really good. He had some great connections with Calvin Ridley, who went off this past weekend. Again, Trevor Lawrence is starting to finally maybe find out where he was last year, where he ended up being really, really good. I like Trevor Lawrence this week. Another quarterback I like is Joe Burrow versus the Seahawks. Now, look, Joe Burrow is coming off his absolute best game of the season, of this really horrendous calf injury season. He just threw for 317 yards and 3 touchdowns. Of course, all to Jamar Chase, his best friend. Burrow looked a lot more explosive. He's still dealing with that calf injury. So again, it's still going to take a little bit of time, but he looked a lot more explosive. He looked good in the pocket. He looked a lot more confident, and hoping everyone who kept Burrow during all that mess is going to start reaping the rewards from this, okay? Now, he plays the Seattle Seahawks team that's allowing 22.5 points to the quarterback and over 300 yards in the air. Really, again, another great matchup for Burrow. Another quarterback I like this week, I know it's going to sound crazy, I have Dak Prescott versus the Chargers. Look, I'm going to talk about it real quick. They stink. Dallas stunk it up. It's 42-10. Nothing else to talk about it. As a Cowboy fan, you go through these emotions. It is what it is. But at this point, we're talking fantasy. I'm not talking about how the game is. Fantasy right now, Dak had one of his worst performances. And so a lot of people got obviously nervous going against a Los Angeles team that Chargers have, a pretty good explosive team, but their defense is horrendous. Okay, Chargers are allowing 27.2 points a game to the quarterback and 300 yards, over 300 yard passing game. Now, I'm not saying this offense is going to change to the Kellen Moore style, which is who obviously is going against them with the Chargers. But I do expect Dak, this whole team in general, Dallas is going to, I think, bounce back. They usually do a really good bounce back game when they go up against a team that has pretty much just got their number and just taken them out. So I expect a nice, strong game from Dak. I expect a strong game from CeeDee Lamb. And I'm hoping, secretly, as a Cowboy fan, Brandon Cooks shows up. I was exciting to see what was going to happen. I'm sure a lot of you in the fantasy world thought that as well. We'll see what happens. Now, another quarterback I like is Baker Mayfield versus the Lions. Baker is back from a bye week. So this is the perfect matchup for him. Going against the Lions defense that's allowing 250 yards in the air, about 2 touchdowns in the air as well. They're allowing 21.4 points to the quarterback. Right now, currently, Baker's averaging 17.87 points. So realistically, this is a game for him to do really, really well. Hopefully he has Mike Evans from his hamstring issue. I think the bye weeks definitely came at the perfect moment to help him out. But again, Bucs offense, It's going to go through Baker Mayfield and his arm. That rush offense is horrible. So realistically, this is a guy who can get you 18 to 20 points based off of, again, being forced to do that and the matchup. Another quarterback is Justin Fields versus the Vikings. I saw a lot of people who didn't start Justin Fields last week, and I thought I was kind of blown away. Now, if you guys watch my videos, I recommended him as a nice little sleeper because I felt that matchup against the Commanders was going to be really, really good. And it showed up. 2 weeks in a row. Fields has been on fire, finishing with over 30 points in fantasy each of the last 2 games, averaging 4 touchdowns per game, which is ridiculous. And it has nothing to do with his legs, right? Like, he's actually playing quarterback, which is what we were all hoping for this upcoming season. Now, a lot of it is attributed to the past defenses he's played against. And guess who? They're going against a Vikings defense that is not great against the pass, allowing 250 yards a game, just under 2 touchdowns a game as well. Fields definitely knows this defense really well. He's obviously played them before. Again, I'm expecting a 20-point game, somewhere similar. I'm not expecting a 30-point, but I do expect him to be a really good starter, top 10 performance this week. Now, as far as sits, Daniel Jones versus the Bills. I'm pretty sure most of you guys have probably dropped Danny Dimes. And I get it. He has not performed well. But in case you haven't and you still have him on your team, do not start him. Like, this is a really bad matchup. I understand the intrigue from last year where Daniel Jones had the rushing ability and Daboll was taking, his quarterback into another level. He didn't throw a lot of interceptions or fumble. But this offense has not really grown since last year. Their offensive line is horrendous, allowing all these sacks. And again, no time for Daniel Jones to actually have an ability to run or throw. And of course, not having Saquon Barkley is definitely a big hit. Top of that, you're going against a Bills defense that's allowing only 15 points a game to quarterbacks and just under a touchdown per game. Really tough matchup. I am sitting Daniel Jones. Another quarterback, Deshaun Watson, going against the 49ers. He just come off of a tough game where he missed because of a shoulder injury. Not his throwing arm, but he's still something that affected him where he couldn't play. Now you're going against, a team that just demolished the Dallas Cowboys in that offense. And Deshaun Watson, who knows how the injury is? We'll see if he's still playing. Right now, he's still considered out. I do expect him to play because he had a bye week. He got 2 weeks to really kind of get better. But again, this 49ers team is pretty serious, only allowing 16 points a game to the quarterback, 206 yards in the air. This is tough, man. I'm going to definitely keep him off the bench if I can. Another quarterback I'm sitting is Jimmy G. Garoppolo is definitely going to be a sit versus the Patriots. I don't expect much out of this game. The Patriots look horrendous in offense. So obviously I'm not even going to put Mac Jones in here. You're automatically sitting him. But Jimmy G had some moments where maybe he could possibly have that revenge game. I don't even call it a revenge game, but a game where he's going against a team that drafted him. But Patriots are only allowing 200 yards a game. 15 points to the quarterback. They've done a really good job. They're keeping quarterbacks like 2 out of 17 points. Hurts to 16 points. Dak to 17 points. So the Patriots defense is actually a legit pass defense, even with the injuries that have occurred with Judon and Christian Gonzalez. But Pat's defense is always somewhere that's going to be top 10 typically. I'm sitting Jimmy G. Another quarterback I'm sitting is CJ Stroud versus the Saints. I love this kid, Stroud. I love this rookie. He looks really good. He was definitely somebody I hyped up big time in Dynasty. If you guys watched any of my Dynasty content. And he's done a really good job so far for redraft. A lot of you guys have probably rostered him, especially off the waiver wire videos I've talked about. I even have him in a few of my redraft leagues. And I've loved his performance. Now, this weekend wasn't so great. He only put up about 15 points or so. Wasn't the performance that everyone had hoped. Now you're going against the Saints defense that is only allowing 195 yards, only a touchdown a game as well. This is a really tough matchup. The Saints do a good job of getting to the quarterback, do a good job of disguising their coverage and things like that, getting, again, their linebackers in the right position. Really tough one for Stroud. I do like this game as far as a testing point, as far as where Stroud is against tough defenses, but I'm going to sit him. Last quarterback I'm sitting is Geno Smith versus the Bengals. Coming off of a nice little bye, Geno hopefully in this Seattle offense does look a lot better, but you're going against the Bengals team that has done a pretty good job against the pass the last 3 games, only allowing 17 points a game to the quarterback, also averaging 2 interceptions a game. They have been a phenomenal turnover team lately, which is, again, huge for this Bengals defense. Geno hasn't looked like his Pro Bowl self. I'm not sure what's going on. He's only averaging about 14 points in fantasy and about a touchdown a game. It's really struggled. We'll see if things turn around again off this bye week, but right now I'm sitting Geno Smith. Now my sleeper of the week is Russell Wilson versus the Chiefs. Nice quick turnaround game, Thursday night game. Kansas City's definitely started off really, really tough against quarterbacks, only allowing 13.5 points a game. But the last 2 games against quarterbacks, they're allowing 21 points a game. Not sure what's going on with that KC offense or defense. They're just struggling right now, allowing 2 touchdowns per game. And Russell Wilson, who's QB8 right now, yes, he's QB8 right now, is coming off a short week where I think he's going to do a pretty good job. Broncos are desperate at this point, trying to get any type of win, especially a divisional win against the Kansas City Chiefs. Not saying the Broncos are going to get a win in this one. I do expect Russ to have a pretty good fantasy week, somewhere around the 18 to 19 point range. Again, keeping him in line with his 20-point average performance right now. And I'm going to continue to talk about Russell Wilson until he's, off, 100% on everybody's roster. I'm talking about him in every waiver wire video. So please do me a favor, get him on your roster. Obviously, there's always that chance of him possibly being benched for, another quarterback if this this team continues to struggle. But at this point, you got to have him. He's doing a really good job. So those are my start, sits, and sleepers for week 6. Again, if you guys have not already, check out my waiver wire video to help you guys out with picking up some players to help you with this week. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. It is greatly appreciated. Again, we were running that giveaway I talked about at the beginning for a jersey 2-week contest. So make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys like the video. Comment your favorite team, and I'll check you guys out next time.